crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dark pass away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't match the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is Hillbilly Crime. My name is Elizabeth, and we've had some big deals happening recently, last couple of days, on the Mickey Steins case. So anybody that has not been alive the last year, so we've been following the Mickey Steins and the Kevin Mullins case here in Letcher County, Kentucky, and there was a motion to change a venue by the prosecutor. I think it was like Friday or something like that. And so then the Bartleys came out and responded to that. So this here looks like Commonwealth's response to the motion to unseal KCPC evaluation. So, and that there was some other things that All right, guys. Sorry if it freezes up. I did look into the Starlink or whatever it was that everybody was telling me to do. Thank you. You know who you are in Alaska. God bless you, honey. Thank you so much. So I looked into this other internet, the Starlink or whatever it's called, and it's no more expensive than what I'm paying right now for what I've got. It's the exact same price. So I'm gonna switch, but I still think that it's in my software, but it doesn't matter. We're going to switch the internet provider just as soon as we can get it all done. They send it to you and you have to kind of do it yourself, set it up yourself. So just bear with us, okay? If it freezes up, don't worry. I'll be right back. So let me read this for us. So this is the response in or wait a minute, no, this is, let me see which one it is. That's the response in opposition to Commonwealth's motion for change of venue. Well, I'm just going to read it. It says, now comes the defendant, Sean Mickey Steins, by and through the undersigned counsel, and states its opposition to the Commonwealth's motion for change of venue. Okay, so is this the one that, let me make sure this was the one that the Bartleys wrote. I think it is. Yep. Okay. So that's the reply. Let me pull it up here. I had the wrong one sitting there in front of me. Okay. And let me see what it is. Reply. Okay. So it should say reply. There it is. Okay. It was right in front of my face, and I still couldn't see. And I had it up here all the time. My goodness. Okay. Response in opposition to Commonwealth. All right. So they're saying that 4 grounds, defendant states as follows. Media coverage in this case is an issue that will not change by transfer to any county within the Commonwealth. So they're saying that because of the media and, you know, the vast reach with like YouTube and the news and stuff like that, it doesn't really matter what county that you live in, you're still going to be able to hear, you know, and know something about this case. Let's see. All right. The Commonwealth cites a select group of local outlets to support its motion. However, this case is one that has garnered international coverage, much less national, much less state attention. Court TV has aired each hearing live and in progress. Every state news outlet has covered this case. Social media is overrun with posts. In short, the media coverage of this case and the background are everywhere. The Commonwealth's position seems to rely on the fact that both defendant and deceased were elected officials. Letcher County is small, and nowhere in eastern Kentucky can a fair trial be held. The Commonwealth asserts that Kentuckians pride themselves on being part of not only their counties, but their regional communities. The Commonwealth selects a couple of mountain networks and espouses that these networks have zeroed in on this case. Again, so has the entire nation of news networks. Oh, you know what? This is in response. So that means the prosecutor must have wrote a whole bunch of stuff saying all this stuff. Let me see if I can find which one it is. Defendant's brief in support of an evidentiary bond hearing. That one's about bond. Response in opposition. That's the one that I just put up there. Okay. Did I... We want to remove that one from the studio and let me pull up another one. We want to hear what the prosecutor's saying. Brief. Okay, maybe this one's it. Oh, change of venue motion. Let's see if this one is it. I was starting backward, y'all. Petition for change of venue. I think that's it. All right. For change of venue. That's the reply. Is this it? No, that's indictment. Well, I guess I'll just have to read it this way. All right. Requires a judge to move in trial adjacent. This right to a change of venue is also inherent in due process clause. Okay, well, we don't care about that. I want to hear what it says about the media. This case is unique in that the scene of the crime happens to be the courthouse in which the defendant is reporting for pretrial conferences, status hearings. I wonder if I can make this bigger. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I don't think so. Crap. Okay. Let me see. Here we go. Here we go. Thank you. All right, here we go. Where there is a reasonable likelihood prejudicial news prior to trial will prevent a fair trial. The judge should continue the case until the threat abates or transfer it to another county, not so permeated with publicity. What? Continue the case until the threat abates? Jeesh. The Brewster Court interpreted Shepard as requiring a change of venue when, number one, there has been prejudicial news coverage. Number two, it occurred prior to trial. Number three, the effect of such news coverage is reasonably likely to prevent a fair trial. This case is unique in that the scene of the crime happens to be the courthouse in which the defendant is reporting for pretrial conferences, status hearings, and could potentially be tried in. Further, both the defendant, Letcher County Sheriff Sean Steins, and the deceased victim, Letcher County District Court Judge Kevin Mullins, are both public officials who were voted upon by the residents of Letcher County to serve in their prospective roles. Every eligible voter in Letcher County either had a reason to vote for or against the defendant and the victim at one time. The preconceived opinions as to the character and ability of these two men is likely to irreconcilably prejudice both the Commonwealth and the defendant if this trial takes place in Letcher County. Looking beyond any preconceived prejudice that Letcher Countyans may have, the county has been inundated with media attention ranging from local to national news sources. There have even been GoFundMe pages established to monetarily support the defendant's family, raising over $9,000. Oh, they brought up the GoFundMe. The pre-established opinions of the deceased victim and the defendant, accompanied by the mass pretrial publicity, has prejudiced both parties and would likely prevent a fair trial from taking place in Letcher County. To provide their Eastern Kentucky viewers with timelines of the day of the commission of the crime, opinions as to the defendant's possible defenses, and predictions as to what could transpire on the future court dates for this case. Print media and articles that are regionally based, such as the Mountain Eagle and Mountaintop News, provide their Eastern Kentucky followers with updates and opinions on the outcome of this case as well. I wonder why they've named every single news source in Eastern Kentucky. Wonder why they've done that. Like, that just seems kind of odd. It seems like they're trying to make a point and say something without saying it. Eastern Kentucky as a whole has been permeated with developments in this awaited trial, to an extent that opinions as to the defendant's guilt and what punishment he should receive have been recorded and solicited across numerous social media platforms. Within the comment sections of news articles regarding this case, residents of Letcher County and other surrounding counties have indicated that they have some relation or personal connection to either the victim or the defendant. The pretrial and ongoing publicity surrounding this case has aroused the public, specifically in the Eastern Kentucky area, in a way in which a fair and impartial trial held in the counties surrounding Letcher County would be unlikely. Wherefore, the Commonwealth prays the court to enter an order transferring this case for trial to some county other than Letcher County, Kentucky, or its surrounding counties. All right. So that was the petition for the motion for the change of venue. So that was that one. Now we are going to read their reply or their response. So we read the first part about the media. The Commonwealth, it says, media coverage in this case is an issue that will not change by transfer to any county within the Commonwealth. We get our information differently than we used to. I've been saying it for a long time, and these kinds of ways that it applies usually get lost in the modernization of technology. Like they're going to continue using the old way things happened. Like we're not in that same time anymore. It's like to me, it's like using a hanging as a punishment. We're just not in that time period anymore. Technology and information the way that we get that has changed so much. Like used to, it was probably much different when jurors were sent home. There was only certain ways that they were able to get information, very limited ways. Now, honey, it's everywhere. And I think just the way that it applies in the court system just falls through the cracks. Nobody ever addresses that and upgrades it or whatever. Okay. Anyway, Commonwealth's position seems to rely on the fact that both defendant and the deceased were elected officials. Letcher County is small, and nowhere in eastern Kentucky can a fair trial be held. The Commonwealth asserts that Kentuckians pride themselves on being a part of not only their counties, but their regional communities. Commonwealth selects a couple of mountain networks and espouses that, yes. Do you want to come on? I sent you the link. All right. Mommy's coming on here in a minute, I think. So she'll pick you some banjo when I freeze up. All right. Not only their counties, but their regional communities. The Commonwealth selects a couple of mountain networks and espouses they have zeroed in on this case. Again, so has the entire nation of news networks. So they're trying to say, only a few. Oh, it kicked us all off. It's trying to say only a few, Let me get in here and get this pulled back up. And we'll just do it this way. It's much easier. You try to do stuff the fancy way. My way was a lot easier. Sheesh. Don't fix what ain't broken. Sometimes just don't fix what ain't broken. Okay. The examination by the court. Here, let me look here, and this works a lot better too. I can see, man. At least, see, that's something that I have to do. I have to work on being more confident in my knowledge, being more confident in, things that I already know or that I'm already doing. I listen to somebody else, which, I'm very humble and open to constructive criticism. But sometimes, you can go listen to somebody else and they send you around in the wilderness 40 years when, if I would have just stuck with what I was doing, I had a shortcut right there. Anyway, I figured that out just now. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. The foundational document for our nation explicitly calls for the right of an accused to be heard where his alleged crime has taken place. While it is clear
I guess she froze up. I don't know if she's back or not. I had got me I'm not going to say a new desk, but I had this old desk outside. And I decided it'd been chewed on by a dog. So I decided that I was going to make a desk out of it. And I did. And I have this little armless rocking chair. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let me tip this up. See my little rocking chair? And my desk, I don't know. Maybe I can show you. See? Got this old desk.
Wow.
Now I'm all ready to play the banjo.
All right. Well, hang on. Let me get this up here.
All right. I'll just wait for you to disappear. Well, I guess she's not coming back right now. I was sitting here thinking she'd come back, but I guess she hadn't. So let's see what I got going here. It's in what's called a C tuning. So you put your strings that are in the C chord according to what's in that chord. There's certain pitches that go together. So that's called the C chord. So now I'll play you a song when she goes away.
All right. I hope it doesn't do this. I'm sorry, y'all. Very frustrating. Somebody had put a comment up and said, are there any Airbnbs in Letcher County? Listen, that's all there are now. It went from, and all of our criminal justice crowd they're all the owners of all these Airbnbs. And everybody's trading and selling properties back and forth between each other. You've got judges selling properties, to big properties, like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of properties, to lawyers, and lawyers selling them back and forth to other lawyers. And you've got all this money that's coming in here with tourism now. They've got the buyout programs. You had all that FEMA money that went missing. Like a lot of the stuff that we're digging into, money is at the root of it all. Money's at the root of it all. And power, people, they're able to do it, so why not, right? And I'm telling you, that web is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's no wonder, it is absolutely no wonder that Mickey was in the state that he was in.
Uh-oh, now's my chance. Did she make it back? No, she didn't get it back. Well, let's just see what I can find to play. I don't have anything to play there that I could play. Well, shoot, I hate it when I do that. My mind just freezes right up. And it says, nope, I'm not going to tell you nothing. You're going to have to work for it.
You're going to have to fix that light back behind you, Mommy. That's blinding everybody and hurting their eyes.
Well, that's me. Don't they know what a wonderful glory light I am?
And you're going to turn that off.
No. How about that?
Well,
how about that? Now it just looks like a ball. Is that okay or not?
Well, I mean, I guess there have to be. You don't want to do nothing with it. All right, let me get back over here to where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, I look even more beautiful.
The foundational document for our nation explicitly calls for the right of an accused to be heard where the alleged crime has taken place. While it is clear that there are delineated exceptions.
Well, I have a delineated exception right here on my own. Listen, my friends, and with you. About the law, terrible sins. Where you been all day? Where been. Well, I've been on the mountain looking for the party. Well, when will be the next party? Well, I don't know, but I'm sure to know. Ready to go, you ready to go party? What do you think that had for refreshments at the big party?
Oh, you do so good. You always do good, Mommy. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I just made that up.
Oh, well, good. There you go. Be creative. Unless otherwise provided by law, the venue of criminal prosecutions and penal actions is in the county or city in which the offense was committed. Again, the first preference is to allow the defendant to be heard by the truest jury of his peers, his own community. It is okay. We're in a criminal or penal action. We don't have to read all that stuff.
What's your problem?
When it comes to the proper venue for a criminal trial, the central concern is to afford the defendant a fair trial, and a venue change is appropriate when it appears the defendant cannot receive a fair trial in the county of prosecution. A change of venue is warranted where a fair trial is not possible. The movement must show that there has been press or media coverage prejudicial to the moving party, and that such coverage took place prior to the trial and the coverage is reasonably likely to prevent a fair trial. Well, I don't think that it's been too prejudicial against him. If anything, you could probably argue that the video was prejudicial against him, but I ain't no lawyer, so I don't know. The mere fact that the jurors may have heard, talked, or read about a case is not sufficient to sustain a motion for change of venue in the absence of a showing that the accounts or descriptions of the investigation
Ups. I should have already been in here, but I had to go in there and I had to do something in there, and I did it and got behind. So here we go. I can do this one. Now my mind's getting in the groove. You got to get in the groove. I guess people get in the groove and stay in the groove. It's what they do. See, now I turned all them lights off and I can't see a blooming thing. What do you think about that?
At least we got you on here to pick up whenever I freeze. Oh, anyway, let's see. Getting back to this.
Oh, now I got it all figured out.
Oh, what I was going to say was, I think that a change of venue only benefits Mickey. I think it benefits Mickey because the farther away that you get from here, the farther away you get from here, the more people want to hold on to the Mickey Stein's daughter and judge story. People want to just say that that Mickey's daughter was, the judge was messing with the daughter, and no matter how much that has been, knocked down, they've come out and said, no, it's not true, but it doesn't matter. People still want to believe that for some reason. But I think that the closer that you are to Letcher County, people more are kind of, open to it being something else. So I think that the farther away that you go from Letcher County, the more it's going to benefit Mickey. What do you think, Mom?
I don't think it's going to make any difference. I think he's going to be found guilty. And I think he's going to get basically the same sentence wherever he's at. And it probably won't be very long.
Yeah, well, if he's if he goes to trial on Red Rum on murder charges, that's what's the sentence? I
They'll
guess
make it not. They won't make it. They'll make it manslaughter or something like that. They'll come to some compromise where he doesn't have to stay in jail more than 5 or 6 years, I'd say.
Well, that would be a plea bargain if they did that. So, what do you guys think? Do you all think that it would be that they would offer him a plea bargain, especially after all of this? Now, remember the Bartleys, Mickey's attorneys, they do have a lot of criminal law experience. They got a real bum rap. Whenever this case first happened, somebody labeled them as a personal injury lawyers, and that was kind of what everybody was thinking. But it turns out that they have a tremendous amount of criminal law experience. Jeremy Bartley was a prosecutor for like 8 years or something like that, and his little fireball wife Carrie, she was a public defender for a while. So they both have experience in criminal law.
I think they're a pretty cool team myself. I like them.
I do too.
I think they'll get the best deal that Mickey's going to get for him.
Yep. I think so too. I don't think
he'll be disappointed. I don't think he'll.
Yep. I agree, Mama.
Do the best they can.
I agree. It says defendant agrees that there has been media attention in this case. However, the media reports begin almost every time with a video of the defendant shooting the deceased. The only party that has a compelling case for removal is Mickey Steins. As this court has stated, this is not a whodunit. I think that's a great point. The central concern is whether a fair trial can be held in Letcher County despite the relationships and the media coverage involved. The Commonwealth does not identify any specific reason why the Commonwealth is prejudiced by the coverage or the relationships alleged. In fact, the assertion is that the mass pretrial publicity has prejudiced both parties. There is no distinction between the positions of the parties. Assuming, arguendo, that this is true, then Letcher County is the best place to try this case for the Commonwealth. The only reasonable explanation is that there is a practical and tactical advantage for the Commonwealth in a venue other than the county where it occurred. However, the Commonwealth availed itself of the Letcher County grand jury and complains now only when coverage appears more balanced than the shooting videos splashed internationally and incessantly early on and still yet. Go, whoever put that in there. I don't know if that was Carrie, Jeremy, or Cox, but man, you guys did a great job on this. Great points, great arguments. To justify a change in venue, prejudice must be shown unless it may be clearly implied in a case from the totality of the circumstances. There is zero support for the contention that the Commonwealth is prejudiced, in this case being held in Letcher County, much less it being prejudiced in all of eastern Kentucky. Newspaper and television accounts are admissible on a hearing of application for change of venue. However, there must be other evidence tending to show such a condition of public sentiment in the county as would prevent the applicant from having a fair and impartial trial. While newspaper articles are admissible and may be considered on a hearing of application for a change of venue, there must be other evidence tending to show such a condition of public sentiment in the county as would prevent the applicant from having a fair and impartial trial. I don't think that that's the case. I don't think that there's a big showing of that in our community. The Commonwealth's application does not make a prima facie case for removal due to prejudice of the Commonwealth. Mr. Steins adamantly opposes transfer, recognizing that there is nowhere in the Commonwealth where the same issues would not prevail in terms of coverage and preconceived notions by the potential jurors.
Well, there, I got back down here. Let's see if I can beat out a little bit on this old banjo. We're gonna do down.
Yay. All right. This phenomenon is not new.
Hi, baby. Uh-oh.
All right. It says it is rare that the Commonwealth proposes transfer based upon media coverage where the accused opposes the same. There have been very notable instances where highly visible cases proceeded to trial in the county of the alleged crime. The bar for removal for defendants has been set high, despite the accused having the greater constitutional claim. The Commonwealth cannot sustain the burden of showing that it is prejudiced by the media coverage and relationships. Okay, and let's go on down and see what else. Number 2, even if this court were to grant transfer, the transfer should be to an adjoining county. Okay.
Amen. I agree with that.
Let's see. It seeks first, there is no clear definition of what counties are considered Eastern Kentucky. Second, there is no support for the notion that some unknown boundary line surrounds the folks in the mountains and makes them more susceptible to the news, the national news, local news, social media, or newspapers than those west of some imaginary line. I agree with that.
Well, I can
News,
draw that line for them.
news coverage in this case has stretched to Europe. Yeah, we've got viewers on our show all around the world. Yet the government asserts that the jurors in the whole of Eastern Kentucky are uniquely unqualified to hear this case. Again, there is no reason to justify removal from Letcher County. However, there is even less justification to exclude the adjoining counties in exchange for any other region of the state. Okay, we're not going to read it all underneath there because it's all kind of okay. It lays out the three-part test for a defendant to establish that the fair cross-section requirement has been violated. The defendant must show that the group alleged to be excluded is a distinctive group in the community. Number two, that the representation of this group in veneers from which juries are selected is not fair and reasonable in relation to the number of such persons in the community. And number three, that this underrepresentation is due to systemic exclusion of the group in the jury selection process. As recognized by the Commonwealth, the people of Kentucky identify strongly with their geographical region. That's very, very true. Curiously, the Commonwealth would have the court exclude an entire region of people based upon this logic. The accused has a right to a jury with a fair cross-section of his community. As the Commonwealth recognizes, Eastern Kentuckians are distinct within the Commonwealth. Moving the case from Eastern Kentucky would axiomatically exclude or at best serve to underrepresent the community of Eastern Kentucky in the veneer. Exclusion of this entire group of people is not fair or reasonable given the options available in adjoining and neighboring counties to Letcher. The court should not allow an entire region of people to be systematically removed from the pool of potential jurors. Removal of this case from Mr. Stein's community raises the risk of prejudice to him in facing a jury of those not vaguely resembling his peers in Eastern Kentucky, and does nothing more than give a tactical advantage to the state. Additionally, as stated herein, the impact on the witnesses in this case and the citizens of Letcher County only heighten the further the venue is transferred. This court would be required to hear evidence concerning each county the parties object to and ascertain which counties are not amenable to a fair trial. These provisions construed together seem to contemplate that a change of venue shall always be made to an adjoining county, unless objection be taken to all of such counties. And it is only when there is no adjoining county to which objection has not been taken and sustained that the change is to be made to the nearest county to which there is no valid objection. Okay. Number three, a hearing on this issue is mandatory. Until this, okay, I'm just going to go on. Okay, that's it. So we'll stop sharing that one. And then we wanted to see This for the unsealed, the Commonwealth's response to the motion to unseal the KCPC evaluation. We wanted to read that. All right. As stated in the defendant's motion, an evaluation of the defendant was previously conducted. Let's see. And filed under seal. The defendant, in requesting the psychological evaluation be unsealed, argues that the contents are relevant to both the defendant's motion and for bond. The court shall order the report to be filed under seal. Notably, the rule does not provide a mechanism to unseal the report, and for good reason, considering the sensitive nature of mental health reports. Let's see. A significant concern exists that should the psychological evaluation be unsealed, the public release of the evaluation would taint potential jurors and deprive both the defendant and the Commonwealth of a fair trial. As the court is aware, this case has received a significant amount of, let's see. Oh, yeah, this trial ain't going to be until like 2026. It's going to be a long time. Let me see if I got.
But the longer they postpone it, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's the better for Mickey. You never know.
Yeah. So go ahead, Mommy.
And it takes the sting off of the horrible moment. I think it was a pretty horrific moment in time. And you know, and it shocks us and makes us all emotional, you know what I'm saying? But that will die down the longer they postpone the trial itself.
Well, they kind of had a big, they kind of had like some kind of a, thank you, honey. They had some kind of an issue. The Stein's defense attorneys, the Bartleys, somehow released the grand jury transcript. It said that that they included the entire transcript of the grand jury testimony on which Steins was indicted for the red rum charge in a publicly accessible, so they filed it on public record. So it was filed under public record today, and it was, you know, like anybody could read it. So I'm hoping that somebody got some screenshots of that
before they took it down. Say that you'll be down, take you home and love you and kiss you all the time, kiss you all the time, kiss you all the time. You ride on your gray mare, now ride on. You gotta go riding, you better leave my dime alone. Leave my dime alone. Dine, please say that you'll be home. Take you home and love you and kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. Is that you back, Elizabeth? Or did I break it totally? Well, I think she's gone again. Well, that's a mighty pretty picture of her. They say that you'll be make you want to love you and kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. I think she's moving.
Yeah, we'll try to get this in there before it cuts out again. So, so the
Playing the banjo for all of them.
yeah, they like it too, Mommy. They like it too. So, grand jury records are secret by law. The defense also included a jail triage form signed by a licensed clinical social worker stating her opinion of Steins's mental state. It says that social worker said that Steins was still in an active state of psychosis on September 23rd. That was 4 days after he pew-pewed Kevin Mullins. Says the social worker wrote that Steins was in a major depressive disorder currently. It also said that he was combative with jail employees and had to be pepper sprayed. Holy cow. Mickey had to be pepper sprayed. Man, that is new information. While the grand jury transcript was sealed shortly after it was released, it was filed by the defense in publicly accessible court files, which were then sent to members of the media late this morning by the Administrative of the Court, Office of the Courts, the AOC. News stories about the contents of the medical file and the grand jury transcript had already appeared on the internet at least 20 minutes before the AOC released the briefs. The documents were filed sometime after a motion by prosecutors to move the trial out of
Well, they're wanting to move the trial out of Letcher County. And not only out of Letcher County, they're wanting to move the trial. I think this is not the defense, it's the state or the county, whoever, does that kind of thing. So they're wanting to move it out of the whole eastern part of Kentucky. But if they moved it to New York City, they'd still have that same coverage. It wouldn't make any difference. So whatever has gone all over the country. The only thing that'll make a difference is in the culture is different. And so people might have more of an understanding of why one would do such a thing here in Eastern Kentucky, because we tend to kind of defend ourselves and take care of ourselves. So that mentality would, I think, influence a jury. But if you were in New York City, then they'd maybe not do that kind of a thing. So they would, because it's not within the culture of what they would do around there. I mean, people shoot guns here, and people shoot people here. But, that's just all I know. Well, somebody brought me a Mountain Dew. Yahoo. What do you think, Elizabeth? You got your mouth all scrunched up. Looks like her eyes blink, doesn't it? Oh, there's a smile. Has she come back for real? I don't think so. So we'll just play a tune. She might just... Take you home and love you and kiss you all. Kiss you all. Kiss you all.
All right. Thanks, Mommy. Yeah. So it says apparently this was a really big deal that this grand jury transcript was accidentally uploaded to public documents. It says that they were filed sometime after a motion by prosecutors to move the trial. And then it says the grand jury transcript released by the defense included complete testimony by Kentucky State Police Detective Clayton Stamper, some of which was in direct conflict with statements made by defense attorneys in open court 2 weeks ago. While attorney Jeremy Bartley told Judge Corrin that there were numerous incidents where the witness would start to answer.
Bye-bye, Elizabeth. Bye-bye. She's gone away again.
Okay, so it says this is very surprising. I'm reading the local newspaper article. The local newspaper did an article on it. And, I've been kind of critical because I think that they write their stories. They're real big buddies with everybody at the courthouse down there. Anytime, like, I can't tell you how many people have told me that they've went into Judge Jimmy Craft's chambers up there, and the newspaper man is sitting in on cases in the judge's chambers. So he's got special access that the rest of us don't have, right? So, which, I mean, kudos to you, but here we go. But they're not, any article that I've read is never in Mickey's favor. It's more so in Judge Mullins's favor, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, but here we go. It says that the statements were in direct conflict made by defense attorneys in open court, while attorney Jeremy Bartley told Judge Corrin that there were numerous incidents where the witness would start to answer something asked by the grand jury and it was shut down. The transcript does not seem to support that position. Bartley also said Stamper answered yes when asked by a juror whether Steins was in sound mind, saying the detective was not qualified to answer that, and arguing that the jury would not have indicted him for murder without that answer. However, the transcript shows the question followed a lengthy set of questions about Stein's visit to a doctor that day before the shooting. But here, let me interject. There shouldn't have been any questions, though, going on. So I noticed that the newspaper man kind of sunk his teeth into that part of it. But there wasn't, remember, this grand jury meeting was not being recorded because there was not supposed to be any testimony. None whatsoever.
Say that you were down. Take you home and love you. Kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time. Kiss you all the time.
All right. So, by saying that, however, the transcript shows the question followed a lengthy set of questions about Stein's visit to a doctor that day before the shooting and a review of the doctor's notes, which did not indicate a mental condition, but there wasn't supposed to be any kind of testimony. Remember, this was not even recorded, right? Ain't that what it said? Or am I getting it mixed up? Am I confusing something? I feel like I'm confusing something here. Which did not indicate a mental condition. The juror then asked whether Steins was in sound mind according to what the investigation had shown. Stamper then answered yes. Well, that's what he said. In addition, the grand jury testimony
Right on the ring, now right on. You get there before I do. You better leave my dime alone. Leave my dime alone. Leave my dime alone. Rain is pouring, rain is coming down. I can't have my dime now. Have no one. Have no one. No queen is flowing, the world is turning wild. None lights up the daytime, they down and forward. Sit down and forward. Sit down and forward.
I'm completely blown away that they're not mentioning the fact that there was not supposed to be any kind of testimony. You know, like they latch on to something and they completely forget like the biggest part of it, right? Like it doesn't even matter the rest because they weren't even supposed to be doing it. And if they were having testimony, then they should have been recording the grand jury meeting. So the very last paragraph says, the detective also noted that the daughter's telephone number was not stored in the judge's phone, and phone records showed there were no phone calls or other communications between them. Jurors asked Stamper, look here, the jurors weren't supposed to be asking. There should not have been any testimony. Jurors asked Stamper specifically about programs such as Snapchat, because I'm going to tell you right now, a whole bunch of them were using Snapchat. One of them, that was the only way his girls were allowed to contact him, was through Snapchat, especially once he got appointed. Okay. And he said there was no record of any communication of any kind. He said the only call from the judge's phone to Stein's daughter was the call made by Stein's himself seconds before he pulled his service weapon from its holster and pew-pewed Mullins 9 times. Well, Mr. Newspaper Man, you've upped it one more shot. Now it's went from 8 to 9.
Well,
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the Newspaper Man at all.
Elizabeth,
Anyway.
how many were there? She might have me muted. You get there before I do. You better leave my diner alone. Leave my diner alone. Leave my diner alone. Rain, it's pouring. I can't have my diner. Have no one. Have no one. Have no one. Diner, we say that you take you home and kiss you all night. Kiss you all night. Kiss you all night.
I gotta go get my child. Thank you, Jesus, for another day being able to come together in your name, Lord. I pray for peace. I pray for healing. And I just ask that the Holy Ghost pray for us tonight, Lord, because there's just a whole lot of things that I ain't got the words for. I ask that you'll forgive me for my sins, Lord, and cover us with your blood. And until we meet again, we give you all praise.
Can't hide from hillbilly crime. You can't hide from hillbilly crime. You may not know that there's a crew in town. The head hillbillies are making their rounds. Small town whispers loud and clear. The sheriff shot the judge in his chambers chair.
Sheriff got a secret he won't keep. Judge shot dead in his disbelief. A lot of people have some stories to tell. Dog passed away, get the sound of a shotgun shell.
All the secrets spill on down. Voices loud in this old town. From the courthouse to the ground. Rumors fly and they can't be bound.
Neighbors hide behind their blinds. Whisper tales of troubled minds. Skeletons covering the mountainside. A treacherous reality in the pines.
Winter reveals the hidden lies. Moonlight couldn't mask the cries. Shadows caught in sunlit skies. There's no cover, no disguise. All the sea